If you're in my board exam prep academy, we are learning about nutrition and diet this week, how it pertains to dental caries. So, as a dental professional, we need to be talking to our patients about what the role in nutrition and diet has to do with our oral health. Our oral health does affect our overall health. So, anything we eat, anything we drink is going to affect our health. But guess what? It also affects our mouth and our teeth as well. It's not as simple as if that patient comes in and has five cavities, it's not as simple as them just not brushing properly. Maybe they're using the wrong toothpaste. Maybe they don't know how to brush, but it's so much more than that. We first need to talk to them about their diet. They might think that they're eating healthy, but when we dig deep and ask them questions, they might have a really big salad for lunch. They might skip breakfast, but then at dinner time, they are eating potatoes that are quite starchy. Maybe they're drinking a lot of milk that has sugar in it, or maybe they're snacking on chips. That plays more of a role. And number one, even before brushing and flossing. So, digging down deep here, this is one of my study sheets that I give to my students who are studying nutrition, diet, and caries for the board exam. But this is a really good review for all of you as well, because as dental professionals or as students, we're going to be talking to our patients about these things. So when we're updating the medical and dental history, we also need to be asking them about their diet. We don't have to spend 30 minutes talking about it, but we need to ask things like, how is your diet like? Do you eat a normal, balanced diet? Anytime I ask this of patients, they always say no. They say, I'll admit, no, I try to eat healthier, but I don't like vegetables. Or I'll admit, no, but I'm super busy. I always skip breakfast. I maybe have a protein bar for lunch, and then dinner time, I'm too tired to make dinner, so I'm just going to order pizza. And then talking about diet, then you have to talk about, when do you get brushing in there? When do you get flossing in there? What about the water pick? So we're not just hounding them on their diet, but we need to say things like, depending on what you eat really affects the teeth, because anything acidic or anything with sugar is going to provide what we call an acid attack inside the mouth for 20 minutes. So you might be drinking that coffee, you might be drinking that tea thinking, well, I'm not eating anything unhealthy, I'm just drinking something. But you might be drinking that throughout the day, sipping that. And that's actually creating an acid attack inside the mouth for 20 minutes with each and every sip. So those five cavities that they might have had today had nothing to do with their brushing not perfectly every morning and every night, but it had more to do with them sipping their tea or coffee throughout the day and not drinking enough water to neutralize those acids. I tell all of my patients, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I have a sweet tooth. I love my candy. Do I eat candy and M&Ms and M's and Skittles throughout the day though? Do I have Skittles at my desk right now? No. But what I like to do at the end of the day is sit on the couch, watch a movie, and I tend to snack on bad things. Is that perfect? No. But what I do is I make sure to have water with me. I actually swoosh my mouth with water like a mouthwash to get that sugar out of there as I'm eating my candy. It's not healthy for me. It's not going to help the health aspect, but it's helping my teeth. I'm not going to get cavities because I'm constantly sipping that water. Water is of a neutral pH. So that means if your mouth is at neutral, it cannot cause a cavity. Does anybody here know what pH of the mouth has to be to cause a cavity? It only has to be 5.5. Neutral is 7. So 5.5 isn't that much lower. You can get a cavity as soon as that happens. So you need to be talking to your patients about eating. You need to be talking to your patients about drinking more water, but also the role of saliva. What if they don't have a lot of saliva? They need to drink even more water, because anything they're eating or unhealthy things that they're drinking is going to sit on their teeth longer because they don't have enough saliva to cleanse the mouth and get rid of them. Or on another end of things, I have patients where I suspect the proteins in their saliva is actually doing more damage than good. So they might have a lot of saliva, but their proteins aren't the healthiest, and that can be due to genetics. So they have a lot of saliva, but they're still getting cavities. They might even eat healthy fairly healthy. They might not even eat any candy, but they still have a cavity at every single visit. And they might be brushing twice a day, but maybe not perfectly. So we need to talk to them actually about their saliva. They might need a different toothpaste to help with their saliva to limit the acidity in the mouth and keep the mouth at a neutral pH position. That is what some toothpaste can do. Toothpaste with xylitol help to keep the mouth at a neutral pH, so at a 7. So even if you're eating that candy or eating things you're not supposed to or drinking things that are more acidic, the mouth is fighting that off with that neutral pH, which is fantastic. But then we like to talk to patients about fluoride. Adding fluoride to their toothpaste helps to remineralize enamel. So any of those acid attacks or sugar that's trying to eat away at the teeth, well, with a proper toothpaste, that can actually fight back and help to remineralize, help to rebuild that enamel. So, fluoride and xylitol, when you're talking about diet, saliva, caries, all plays a part. We can't just be lecturing our patients about their bad diet. We need to tell them how to treat it. We need to tell them how we can help them. So, it's not just as simple as saying we can't eat candy or we have to avoid sugar, but why do we do that? It's because sugars and starches feed karyogenic bacteria such as Streptococcus mutans. What does this mean? This is going to metabolize sugars, producing acids that demineralize enamel. So that's the scientific way of saying what I just said. The sugars are eating away at the teeth, causing cavities. So we can throw in words like Streptococcus mutans. That's what you have to know for the board exam. That is what we're concerned about when it comes to dental caries. Now, again, talking about acidic foods and their frequency and drinks, if we're constantly sipping on something or eating a candy, every 20 minutes we have that additional acid attack. So we need to remember that. But then, what if we're not only talking about the teeth, we're talking about their overall mouth? They can have gingivitis, they can have periodontal disease. It might not be due to plaque and calculus buildup. Maybe you're thinking, okay, they have light plaque. Why are their gums so puffy, swollen, and red? It could have to do with a nutritional deficiency. Vitamin C deficiency can lead to scurvy, which is swollen, bleeding gums. A lot of people are actually deficient in things and they don't even realize it. So there's vitamin C deficiency, right? But there's also calcium, vitamin D deficiency. There's all of these different deficiencies. So these are all inside the study guide that I provide to my students in the Board Exam Prep Academy, or if you're still a student in school, either a dental hygiene student or a dental assisting student, you should join the Dentalelle Student Academy. So you're not learning for the board exam, but you learn all of this in your classroom studies. So you're 10 steps ahead even before you learn it in school. It just makes things easier for you. And I like to think I help to break it down and make things easier to understand, right? You can read the textbook, but guess what? I just saved you thousands of pages of reading, talking to you guys about caries, gum disease, deficiencies, and let me know, of course, if you have any questions. So in this part here, it talks about fluoride. Again, you could be deficient in fluoride. You might actually need more to help to remineralize that enamel and fix those teeth. So nutrients, when we have the proper nutrition, it's not only helping our health, it's helping our teeth as well. Let's say all we do is eat vegetables. Okay, great. That's super healthy. But we would be deficient in other things. We have to have a balanced diet. Vegetables are so healthy for you, and they're also great for the teeth, especially raw vegetables. Because us eating raw vegetables, it's crunchier. So we're actually cleansing our teeth. We are cleansing our gums. We're teaching our mouth to be able to bite down on something, but it's also removing the plaque in a natural way. We still have to brush because nobody's eating enough raw vegetables where we don't have to brush our teeth. We still have to brush. We still have to floss. We still have to use the water pick if we don't like to floss, but the healthier we eat, the better it is. If we're eating more sugars, more starchy foods like pasta or crackers, let's say, anything that gets stuck in the teeth, that's just making it harder for us to clean our mouth. We have to brush even better. We have to drink more water. All of these things we have to think about. And if we increase fiber, this is going to enhance our salivary flow. The more saliva we have typically means better cleaning of our mouth and our teeth, unless our saliva could be harming us a little bit, but you don't really know that until you get a dental exam. We can kind of let you know, but that's a very rare case, to be honest with you. So don't worry about that too much. But they also say to choose dairy products or alternatives to help to supply calcium. Calcium also helps to neutralize the acids. Okay. Now, for those of you, though, who stay away from dairy products, I'm one of those people. I'm not perfect, but I do try to stay away from it. I would just use water instead to neutralize the acids in my mouth, enamel, teeth, all of that. Um, Special considerations. So I think this is pretty obvious, but children are growing. They especially need a well balanced, nutritious diet. But guess what? So do adults. We all do. It doesn't matter if we're older, pregnant, younger, we all need a balanced diet. We need to try to work hard to eat better, to do better, and to brush our teeth better so our mouth is healthier. If our mouth isn't healthy, we can't be the healthiest we can. If you ate vegetables all day, every day, drank lots of water, ate other things to have a balanced diet, but you didn't brush your teeth, you can't be healthy because all of that bacteria from your teeth, anytime you eat something, is mixing with your food. You're swallowing it, and then that's more bacteria in the bloodstream. But it's the same as if you brush your teeth perfectly, but you ate pizza, chips, and cookies every day. You can't be healthy. You might have perfect teeth, but eventually they're not going to be so perfect because you're eating so poorly. So, our jobs as dental professionals is to educate our patients. We're not here to lecture them. We're not here to say we're perfect. In fact, I tell all of my patients, I'm going to ask you about your diet. Let's talk about it. And then I say, don't feel bad about eating candy. I mean, we can't be perfect. Of course, it's not healthy for you, but I'm not going to tell you to stop eating candy. I eat candy too, but what do? I make sure to brush really well. I make sure to drink a lot of water. Or a perfect example, I was just talking to a patient about this on Saturday. She drinks a lot of tea and she has a lot of staining on her teeth. But I told her, tea is healthy. Tea is known as one of those healthier things. But unfortunately, it's very acidic for the teeth. And that's where your stain is coming from because the tea is causing acidity, which is causing the stain to stick to your teeth more, making it harder to brush off. But I told her, which might surprise you, I told her, but I don't want you to stop drinking tea because it's healthy for you. You like tea, it's something you enjoy. I'm not going to tell you to stop drinking it, but we need to manage the stain. So let's do other things. Maybe she has to have her teeth cleaned more often. I had recommended a different toothpaste to her with baking soda to help to really get rid of some of that stain. So I suggested other things, but I did also say if you were to stop the tea, though, that would help with the stain. But I'm a tea and coffee drinker too. I don't want to stop drinking my coffee. I'm just going to manage the symptoms, if you will. That is better to me and makes me happier. So we're not here to lecture. We're here to educate, but also offer alternatives. We're not here to say you can never eat pizza again, even though that's your favorite food. We might say maybe eat pizza only on Fridays and drink more water. Don't have pop with your pizza. Don't have sugar pop with your pizza. Have water. Help think of ways to just do a little bit more and do a little bit better and brush better and floss better and maybe even switch their toothpaste if they're getting a lot of stain due to their diet. So I hope this helps you guys. Let me know if any questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, we're not here to lecture our poor patients. We're here to help them. They don't want to hear us lecture them, okay? Thank you guys. Bye for now.